Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to Happy Triggerfinger, your one-stop shop for all things gaming. Today, we're delving into a topic that's got the gaming community buzzing: $70 games and the ever-controversial world of microtransactions. We're taking a deep dive into the world of gaming, economics, and ethics, so settle in, because things are about to get interesting. But before we jump in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on our latest gaming deep dives. Alright, so let's talk about accessibility in gaming. We've seen a recent trend where game prices are creeping up to $70, and that's got a lot of folks concerned. I mean, think about it. Not everyone can afford to drop that kind of cash on a single game. Whether you're a student on a budget or just trying to make ends meet, shelling out $70 for a game might not be feasible. And let's not forget our friends in different parts of the world where incomes might not be so high. So when games are priced at $70, it's like they're putting up a members only sign at the gaming table, and not everyone could get in. I mean, look at value for money. All right, here's a hot topic: value for money. You're telling me that I gotta cough up an extra $10 for essentially the same experience? Look, I get it. Game development costs are rising, but is that extra tenner really justified? Some gamers are scratching their heads wondering if these $70 games are bringing enough new stuff to the table to warrant the price hike. It's like going to your favorite burger joint and finding out they've raised the price, but the burger tastes just like it did before. Sure, it's still good, but you can't help but feeling a bit ripped off. Now let's talk about tradition. Now tradition is a funny thing, isn't it? For years, gamers have been shelling out around $60 for a new release, and it's become the norm. But now with these $70 price tags floating around, it's like someone's messing with their natural order of things. Gamers are creatures of habit, and when you mess with their pricing, you're playing with fire. It's like grandma changing her secret cookie recipe. Sure, cookies might still taste good, but it just ain't the same. And then we have impact on sales. Let's talk economics. When games start getting too expensive, sales can take a hit. I mean, it's basic math, right? If fewer people can afford to buy your game, you're gonna sell fewer copies. And that's not just bad news for the game developers, it's bad news for all of us gamers. Because when sales go down, that means less money flow into the industry, which could mean fewer games down the line. So it's like a domino effect. Higher prices now could mean fewer games to enjoy later. But let's not lose hope just yet. In a world where $70 games are becoming the norm, there's a shining beacon of hope: subscription services. I'm talking about platforms like Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Now, where you can get access to a whole library of games for a monthly fee. It's like the Netflix of gaming. Sure, you might not own the games outright, but hey, for a fraction of the cost of a single game, you get access to a whole buffet of gaming goodness. And in a world where game prices are soaring, that's a pretty sweet deal if you ask me. Oh man, now we're on to the topic of microtransactions. Paying for extras. Microtransactions, the bane of many gamers' existence. Now don't get me wrong, I'm all for supporting game developers, but when you're dropping real cash on virtual items, things start to get a little dicey. I mean, you've already forked out your hard-earned money for the game itself. So why should you have to pay extra just to unlock content that should have been included from the get-go? It's like buying a car and then finding out you gotta pay extra for a steering wheel. And with microtransactions come unfair advantages. Picture this: you're grinding away at your favorite multiplayer game, honing in your skills, and then bam, some player swoops in with the best gear, courtesy of their fat wallet. It's like showing up to a marathon with a jetpack. Sure, you might win, but where's the fun in that? Microtransactions that give players a leg up can seriously throw off the balance of the game, turning what should be a level playing field into a cash-fueled free-for-all. In my opinion, if you're gonna put a jetpack in the game, at least make it so the players can earn it without having to pay for it. You know, this next micro topic, it's gonna bug me, it's gonna bug everybody else, but tricking players. Now let's talk about ethics. Microtransactions, when done right, can be a harmless way to support game developers and enhance your gaming experience. But when they're designed to prey on the vulnerable players, especially kids, well, that's when things get downright shady. We've all heard the horror stories of kids racking up massive bills on their parents' credit cards, all because they got sucked into the microtransaction vortex. It's like putting a candy store in a daycare. You know it's gonna cause trouble. And to be honest, it just takes away the fun. Let's get real for a second. Games are supposed to be fun, right? They're supposed to be a way to escape the world, to lose yourself in another world for a while. But when games are filled to the brim with microtransactions, that fun factor starts to dwindle. Suddenly, it's less about enjoying the game itself and more about how much cash you can drop on virtual goodies. It's like going to a theme park and spending a whole day at the gift shop. Sure, you might walk away with something cool, but did you really get your money's worth? All right, let's talk about PR nightmares. Microtransactions have a bit of a reputation, shall we say. When a game gets slapped with the label of pay to win or cash grab, it's like trying to unring a bell. Once it's out there, you can't get it back, and you can't take it back. And that's bad news for game developers. I mean, who wants to shell out their hard-earned cash on a game that's more interested in emptying our wallet than giving you a good time and good experience? It's like inviting someone to dinner and then charging them for the napkins. Sure, you might make a quick buck, but you're not gonna make any friends along the way. Right now, I'm gonna go a little bit off script because I wrote a script for this video and I just want to tell you guys what I think personally about this too, even though I wrote the script. There's just one big thing I want to add here. If you're gonna make a game, and this is a message to any developer out there, if you're gonna make a game $70, you do not need microtransactions in it. I don't care who you are, who you think you are, you're not gonna get gamers to buy your game and then buy microtransactions. Your game needs to either be free or $40 in order for me to want to buy anything out of the microtransaction store. For example, if you look at Helldivers 2, that came out and look at how popular it is. It has minimal microtransactions in it, and you unlock things throughout the game by actually going into the levels and finding certain bonds. I forgot what they're called in the game, but they're called something like war bonds or something. The game is $40 to start off. I just want to repeat that if I said that before. The game is $40. And you're telling me that I don't have to spend any more money on the game? Hell, I want the game now, especially since it's basically game of the year already. Everybody loves it. There you have it, a deep dive into the world of $70 games and microtransactions. Whether you're a seasoned gamer or just dipping your toes into the gaming world, it's clear that these issues are worth discussing. After all, when it comes to gaming, we're all in this together.